July 27th, 1966. My left hand did it again. Speak of having a mind of its own. It prevented me from picking out the sari of my choice, snatched it out of my good old right hand and put it firmly back in the wardrobe. Chose a garish red one instead. Must tell Bhaskar about this new development. July 30th, 1966. Bhaskar gave me a referral to Calcutta's most eminent neuropathologist, Dr. Alok Sengupta. His diagnosis confirmed Bhaskar's worst fears. It seems that I now suffer from a rare disorder, alien hand or Dr. Strangelove syndrome. They both of them agree that it is the result of the injury I suffered a year ago because of the car crash I was in. I have the diagnosis typed out in my case file. Quote, the patient sustained anteromedial frontal lobe injury in a road traffic accident, resulting in trauma leading to movements that are often exploratory in nature. External objects are frequently grasped at and utilized functionally without the simultaneous perception on the part of the patient that she is in control of such movements. Once an object has been acquired and is maintained in the grasp of the patient's hands, she exhibits difficulty with voluntarily releasing the object from grasp and can sometimes be seen to be peeling the fingers of the hand off the grasped object, using the opposite controlled hand to enable the release. This tonic grasping or instinctive grasp reaction or magnetic apraxia is consistent with a diagnosis of alien hand syndrome. Ha! The upshot of this is that I am not responsible for my own actions, it seems. But seriously speaking, it's not funny. Right now, Lefty is snatching hold of the pen to prevent my right hand from recording his misdemeanors. Shoo there, Lefty. Go away, naughty hand. No. August 15th, 1966. I haven't slept properly for a week. To cheer me up, Bhaskar took me on a long drive along the esplanade. For a diversion, we decided to see who could recite more from Shakespeare. Bhaskar began with, "Shall I compare thee to a summer's day?" It's my favorite. I always maintain that I am a darling bud of May, my having been born on the 18th of the month. Then I recited all the words a stage. But when we passed the traffic lights at Bada Park, disaster struck, or almost. I suddenly became aware of my left hand sneaking along in the darkness of the car interior and making for Bhaskar's throat. Not his throat really, but the gold chain and medallion he always wears around his neck. Before either of us knew it, the fingers had a stranglehold on the chain and Bhaskar was choking, this time for real. It was almost 10 at night and the streets were deserted, so no help forthcoming. I tried prizing away Lefty's fingers with my right hand. Then fortunately, the chain gave. It was all that Bhaskar could do to prevent himself from losing control of the wheel. I can't bear to record the details of what followed. Just the half-comic bit about Bhaskar holding my hands in an iron grip and kissing away my tears, then telling me to sit hard on my left hand while we sped home. September 1st, 1966. Bhaskar and I spent the evening at the Royal Bengal. We walked about the old place. Lefty behaved himself till I felt him quietly trying to nick off my pearl earrings. I was naturally distraught. Bhaskar tried to cheer me up. He said, "How about another Shakespeare challenge? What'll you be?" "Infirm of purpose," I responded. "Give me the daggers. The sleeping and the dead are but as pictures." Then it started drizzling, and we made for home in Bhaskar's car. As we passed by one of those down-at-heel addas of Lower Banerjee Road, the headlights of Bhaskar's car picked out the figure of a man. He was a little more than a perambulating skeleton with a cigarette hanging out between his lips. Yellowed skin of someone who has chronic liver failure. Bhaskar suddenly exclaimed, "Did you see him, the guy we just passed on the road? Know who he is?" I shook my head. "That's my cousin on my father's side, the Marxist champion of the Addas. Delighted to introduce you to Pratap Chandra Sen, joint heir with me to Aunt Binodini's land." I turned back to look at the waxen figure quickly disappearing from view. Where on earth does he live, Bhaskar? In Gulmohar, that dilapidated tenement in front of which we saw him. Nothing more to pen tonight. I am still depressed. Bhaskar suggested I get a prescription from Dr. Sengupta to help me handle these sleepless nights. Ah, the shadows lengthen. Let's hope this is the darkest hour before dawn. September 20th, 1966. The chloral's working well so far. Soothes my nerves and sweetens my sleep. I'm beginning to sound like Lady M. I don't mind. Sometimes I think Bhaskar likes me best as Mrs. Macbeth. I don't mind being anything that Bhaskar likes. Anything. October 15th, 1966. Almost a month since my last entry. It's just this listlessness that fills me, combined with Lefty's increasingly bad behavior. On my last consultation with Dr. Sengupta, he, Lefty, reached across and began unbuttoning the good doctor's shirt. The man did not know whether to have a fit or write a paper about me. That's what he told Bhaskar. Bhaskar's a junior colleague of his now at the Medical College Hospital. And of course, he's monitoring his lady love through Dr. Sengupta. Back to Bhaskar. Undrilla seems to have made no more entries for over 6 months. I could see the changes wrought by chloral and 1 or 2 other prescription drugs in my dark cousin. The gloom hung about her like a thing of the night, and all the while she craved for more. I'll tell the police inspector that. Mental confusion, stupor, even sleepwalking are the side effects of the medication that Undrilla Mukherjee was on, Inspector Saab. There's evidence you will find and Dr. Sengupta's testimony to support it. Ah, here she goes again. May 2nd, 1967, only a month and a half ago. Back to the diary. May 2nd, 1967. Bhaskar called up this morning. Not sure he did. Just think so. Sometimes I can't tell the days apart, or night from day, or sleep from waking. They all seem so crepuscular, jostling, pushing one another in the twilight. So I can't tell whether I slept and dreamt at all. But Bhaskar said something about something. Yes, it was about his Aunt B. Damn, I can't remember her name. He said the old lady is worried about Pratap. He's been visiting her and asking urgently for money. So she told Bhaskar that she was selling off a good bit of prime land so that Pratap can live decently. Someone's almost living on the pavement. It can't be the aunt, so it must be the nephew, Pratap. My mind's like overcooked porridge. May 28th, 67. I'm an old woman now. I feel an old woman. Sometimes I think, just cut off Lefty. Cut my losses. I had an evil dream last night. I went into the kitchen and found the sharpest of them, butcher, glint-bladed thing. Then I tried to amputate Lefty, but he was too strong for me, too bloody cunning. Then I awoke and found Lefty was lying still and innocent as a newborn calf, quiet on my pillow. I mustn't sleep. I mustn't. Sleep must be murdered. I think I'm losing grip. June 14th, 1967. Now there are whispers inside my head, like conspirators in conference. I still don't know whether I sleep or wake. I only know that I'd been walking in the rain with something whispering in my ear. Go on, Lady Macbeth. Rehearse your lines for the murder scene. It's Act 2, Scene 2 today, remember? I heard myself intoning, come, thick night, and pall thee in the dunnest smoke of hell. Then hissing in my ear, you've forgotten your lines again, Andrella. Practice, practice. Tomorrow's the final performance. Good God, it was me out there, Lady Macbeth, playing Lady Macbeth in the dead of night on Lower Banerjee Road. June 15th, 67. I didn't do it. I didn't. I'll tell them when they come for me. I'll tell them it was a whisper in my head, leading me down the alleyways into a tenement building. My mind was walking behind me and whispering things in my ears. The corridors were narrow, damp, and fetid, like the entrails of a strange animal. A door opened, a curtain was drawn aside, and I entered. I heard the voice say, go on, good luck, my Lady Macbeth. Shake the boards, take the audience by storm. Good luck, dear girl, and oh yes, break a leg. This time, it was a dagger in my right hand, a glittering Nepalese thing from my own drawing room wall, and a figure huddled under the bedclothes. Someone was playing Duncan so well. But I couldn't, not even for a performance I'd dreamed up in my head. I turned back to the wings, but the prompter murmured, go right back there and do your part. The dagger's only a prop, and it's only a dummy in that bed. The sleeping and the dead are but as pictures. Remember your Shakespeare? Just pretend you're amputating Lefty. You can't escape your mind, can you? So I went. Good God in heaven, I went. I don't know much of what happened in my dream after that. I only know that it's now the morning of the 15th of June, 1967, and I think I am, awake. Vaskar's call awoke me. He said very quietly, my cousin Pratap Chandra Sen was found murdered in his bed in the Gulmohar. I've been over to identify the body at the police morgue. Good God, Andrella, who would have thought the guy had so much blood in him? I don't know what he said next. The telephone is hanging by its wire. I've been washing my hands and my nails and underneath them, but I can still smell the... Back to Vaskar. Of course, that was Andrella's last entry. That evening, I told her I was picking her up and that she'd better tell me everything she had done. She had better come clean. We went for a long, slow walk along that lonely stretch of the Sonpara, a babbling brook that feeds the Hooghly. Andrella was a throbbing bundle of nerves as she laid her head against my chest and told me all. Then she looked up with her shadows on slate eyes and said, they'll get me soon, Vaskar. Aren't you afraid of associating with me? I'll be hanged, won't I, for the murder of Pratap Chandra Sen? Lady M on death row. Or, at very least, a lifer. But you will stand by me and love me always, just like you do now. I can still hear her plea and my own whispered response. Lady M's played herself out. She's dead, Andrella. Play Ophelia now. Remember, Andrella, you're Ophelia. Get thee to a nunnery. I say we will have no more marriages. Those that are married already, all but one, shall live. The rest shall keep as they are. To a nunnery, go, exit. And she turned on her heel and ran sobbing into the darkness. I couldn't run fast enough after her on only one good leg, could I? So, by the time I caught up with her, she was floating serenely, face downwards, where the Sonpara meets the Hooghly.